Since it's officially June and Pride Month, let's talk some upcoming queer releases. Hi, I'm Alex. This is Books and Paperbacks, where I love to shout about queer and trans books. And yes, it is that time again where I am going to share with you upcoming queer books I am looking forward to that you should have on your radar. I've been doing this video series throughout the year, so I'll link the last two down below for you in a playlist. But how it works is I'm just going to share with you some books that recently came out that I'm excited about and want to tell you about as well. If you want to know more about the books, check my description. I will have titles and links to how to pre-order them. They are affiliate links, which is no extra cost to you, but it helps support the channel a ton. And if there's any book that you're really interested in, pre-ordering helps a ton, especially for marginalized authors. This tells publishing that they should publish more books. I know it is a really screwed up mentality, but as somebody who works in publishing, I know exactly how it runs, and it is very unfortunate, but it really helps the authors for you to pre-order their books in any way. Even if you can just try to pre-order them at your library, there's ways to do that as well. Anything helps. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And if you catch me looking down, it's just on my computer so that I can read everything properly. First is So Many Stars, an oral history of trans, non-binary, genderqueer, and two-spirit people of color by Caro de Robertis. This came out on May 13th, and yes, it is a nonfiction oral history of trans elders. Award-winning novelist Caro de Robertis offers a first-of-its-kind, deeply personal and moving oral history of a generation of queer and trans elders of color, from leading activists to artists to ordinary citizens, to tell their stories of breathtaking courage, cultural innovations, and acts of resistance, all in their own words. I am so excited for this. I love reading from trans elders, and I always talk about how important it is for us to even have trans elders and to be listening to them. So this sounds like a very important read, and I'm so excited to get my hands on it. Next is a really fun one, Awakened by A.E. Osworth. It came out on April 29th. A coven of trans witches battle an evil AI in this coming of middle age romp about love, loss, drag shows, and late capitalism. Megan at Books and Blazers shared this, and as soon as she did, I added it to my list to talk about in this video because how have I not known about this? The cover is gorgeous and it sounds fantastic. I'm definitely going to try and pick this up for October. I need more books like this. Next is a historical fiction, The Lilac People by Milo Todd, which came out on April 29th. It is a historical fiction following a trans man named Bertie living in 1932 Berlin and enjoying the city's thriving queer community. But when Hitler rises to power, the life he's built with his girlfriend Sophie is threatened. I've heard nothing but great things about this since it came out, and that's why it's on my radar. A lot of my queer book friends have reviewed it and loved it. I believe I heard about this from Audrey, so I'll link the review down below. This sounds fantastic and a book that we really need right now. Next is Forest Euphoria, The Abounding Queerness of Nature. This came out on May 27th. Now more urgent than ever, Forest Euphoria immerses readers in the world of queer ecology. The book is a true celebration of the natural world, inviting us to find beauty in the resilience and diversity of all living things, whether in mushrooms, plants, or among ourselves. Forest Euphoria is a must-read for anyone who loves science writing that is poetic as it is rigorous. A thrilling book about the abounding queerness of the natural world that challenges our expectations of what is normal, beautiful, and possible. Growing up, Patricia Kashian felt most at home in the swamps and culverts near her house in the Hudson Valley. A child who frequently felt out of place, too much of one thing or not enough of another, she found acceptance in these places among the amphibious beings. She saw her own developing identities as a queer neurodivergent person reflected back at her and in them too. She found a personal path to a life of science. In these delightful essays, Kashian shows us this making of a scientist and introduces readers to the queerness, literal and otherwise, of all the life around us. Fungi, we learn, commonly have more than 2 biological sexes and some as many as 23,000. Some intersex slugs mutually fire calcium carbonate love darts at each other during courtship. Glass eels are sexually undetermined until their last year of life, which stumped scientists. romance, once dubbed the eel question. Nature, Kashian shows us, is filled with the unusual, the overlooked, and the marginalized, and they have lessons for us all. This sounds awesome, and I want to just let you know the publisher reached out to me about this to review, and I was like, I just don't have the time for this, but I figured I would share it here in case anybody else is interested, but I'm not being paid. I was just approached about it and figured that I would share it here. Thank you to the publisher for reaching out about this title. It sounds really fascinating, so I just wanted to let you all know about it in case it's something you're interested in. I think this is so fascinating. Next is Donut Summer by Anita Kelly, coming out July 29. It is a small town workplace romance with diners and donut shops, anxiety rep, and kinda enemies to people who date. I just love the cover. It looks awesome. Relaxing and getting a tan may be high on most teen summer activity lists, but for chronically freckled and deeply anxious Penny Dexter, not a chance. Socking money away for college, of course. Babysitting her siblings, sure. Becoming a climate scientist and saving the world, she wishes. At least she can tackle the tuition money with the seasonal gig she landed at her local donut shop. But when she finds out that her genderqueer nemesis, Matteo Della Penna, will also be working behind the counter, Penny's summer of mindless labor vanishes before her eyes. But their 2.5-year feud takes a backseat when Delicious Donuts is threatened by a corporate takeover. I have yet to read from this author, but this sounds so good. Donut shops are rare to see in books. The only other one I've read is The Donut Trap, and I really enjoyed that book, so I'm really excited to see what Anita Kelly does with this. And the cover is so cool. I honestly would get this book for the cover alone. Next is a middle grade anthology, Athlete is Agender, edited by Catherine Locke and Nicole Melleby, with stories by Eric J. Brown, Marieke Nijkamp, Isaac Fitzsimons, Skylar Baylor, AJ Sass, and more. It came out on May 13th. It's an anthology filled with essays by kid lit authors and athletes. I'm so excited to read this. It's part memoir, part manifesto. This book revels in the achievements of strong, passionate, and determined LGBTQ+ athletes across every age level and field of sports. Fantastic. I can't wait to read it. Next is a YA Rivals to Lovers set in Paris. This is Robby Webber's third book, I believe. This is Everything About You by Robby Webber, coming out on September 9th. Milo's dream summer in Paris. An apprenticeship at an iconic fashion house, his best friend by his side, and a shot at a permanent job goes catastrophically off course when his biggest competition turns out to be Rhodes, a devastatingly charming English tabloid magnate he absolutely cannot afford to fall for. Think Emily in Paris meets Red, White, and Royal Blue, with plenty of French fashion cuisine and lots of romance. Robby shares what inspired him to write this book. He says, I started my career in fashion when I was 21, interning at Marie Claire, working PR at Ralph Lauren, running fashion blogs for years. I still live for the runway shows, the collections, the storytelling of fashion. Writing about that world felt inevitable. In Paris, my first 2 books were set in Citrus Harbor, but I knew my next 2 should be about kids breaking out. First NYC and now Paris. Okay, so maybe this isn't his 3rd book, but it could be his 4th. I also wanted to write a true Rivals to Lovers. Rhodes is the son of a British power couple. Milo is endlessly ambitious, and their tension sizzles. People call my characters anti-heroes all the time, and Milo is definitely going to deliver. It's just reminding me of the Lizzie McGuire movie. Everyone says Emily in Paris. I say Lizzie McGuire. Next is Last First Kiss by Julian Winters, coming out on January 27th, 2026. And as a One Direction fan, nice. They say you never forget your first kiss, but Jordan Carter wishes he could forget the one he shared with Jamie Peters as teens, and the one they almost shared again last year before Jamie made it clear he wasn't the right man for Jordan to be with while he's figuring himself out. Now Jordan's fully focused on his career at 24 Karat Gold, his family's event planning company, and ready to move on until his boss assigns him to plan a new client's high-profile wedding. The bride's man of honor? None other than Jamie. As things ramp up, the closer they get to the wedding, so does Jordan's relationship with Jamie, with sarcastic asides turning into steamy hookups. But can Jordan afford to pursue Jamie if he's still unsure who he is? Or is knowing who he loves enough? Venue shopping, cake tastings, and dress fittings with the man he can't forget just might change the man Jordan Carter is meant to become. Last First Kiss is a second chance romance about finding yourself and the love of your life. I have yet to read any adult romance from Julian Winters. I know I'm behind, but this sounds fantastic. And knowing the potential of Julian Winters, this is what I always say, is his books are so unique. Like, nobody else has this kind of storyline. I can't wait to read it. And I'm sad it's not going to be out until January 2026. Next, on September 23rd, is Chatham Greenfield's next book, Try Your Worst. This is a cozy mystery about rivals who must find out who has been framing them for crimes they didn't commit. It is about two lifelong rivals who are forced to team up to solve a cozy mystery in a seaside tourist town. It features plenty of hijinks, hate-struck / love-struck lesbians, a cat-themed bed and breakfast. It has depression and chronic pain reps, specifically generalized joint hypermobility. We need more queer cozy mysteries. I say this all the time. So I would also like to pop this in for October. That would be great if I could obtain it some way. We're definitely lacking in that department, so I'm very excited to see this hitting shelves and can't wait to read it. Next is a YA from MK England, Roll for Love. This came out on April 8th, and for my D&D fans, this is for you. Harper Reed's summer is not off to a great start. After the death of her grandpa, she moves across the country, leaving her friends and Dungeons and Dragons group behind. She wasn't exactly planning to start her senior year on the farm where she spent her childhood summers, but running into Ollie, former best friend and first crush, makes things much better. When Harper discovers Ollie and her friends are starting a new D&D campaign, she quickly joins the group. As Harper and Ollie reconnect in the real world, romantic tension begins to build between Harper's brash barbarian and Ollie's proud paladin, but it's all just part of the game, right? Ollie's future depends on keeping her bisexuality private, while Harper's dreams include an out and proud life in the rural town. But as their feelings continue to grow with each gaming session, their relationship begins to threaten everything they've worked so hard to build. As the school year comes to a close and the campaign's final boss looms on the horizon, Harper and Ollie must decide, are their feelings more than just a fantasy? Because if they want a second chance at love, they'll have to fight for it both in-game and in real life. I am not a D&D player, have never played it, but kudos to everybody that does. If I said anything wrong, I apologize. Like, that's why I've said anything wrong, because I've never played it. I have no idea. The author shared some little descriptors. There's an ace non-binary dungeon master, two boys having their own oblivious romance across the table too, envisioning life paths that don't involve four-year college, love for small rural towns, a very good Southern mama. This sounds great and I wanted to share it for my D&D pals, but I love that we're getting more books that aren't stereotypical coming-of-age stories in queer narratives, because I love to see a character who can't come out, because that is a reality for many teenagers, and it is very nice to have books where people are out and proud, but that's not always the reality for everybody. So this sounds really great. I love a small town and a second chance romance. Like, having to go back to your old town and starting fresh in high school, that has to be very tough, and you know, I love a good YA with those themes. On May 27th, Lyla Lee's Love in Focus came out. It is a roommates to lovers to enemies to lovers type of angst. Features a heartwarming subplot about a project focused on modern love and how different people define and experience love in various ways. The characters are very messy, but in a good fun way. Fabulous and diverse female friendships. Just a little over quarter life crisis figuring out what you really want. When her boyfriend of 7 years suddenly breaks up with her, relationship advice columnist Gemma Cho is convinced that real love doesn't exist. As a bisexual woman who has had zero luck with both men and women, she's ready to give up on her own romantic prospects. That is until she's paired up with world-renowned photographer Celeste Min on a potentially career-saving Valentine's Day themed piece on modern love. Celeste is extremely talented and sexy and would be the perfect collaborator and rebound for Gemma if it weren't for one major fact: she's Gemma's ex. the one that broke her heart in college and moved to a whole other country before Gemma could even make sense of what went wrong between them. Heightened by the unmistakable sparks that still fly between them, Gemma and Celeste struggled to keep their relationship strictly professional. For the sake of her career, Gemma needs this piece to do well, and for the sake of what's left of her beaten up, hopeless romantic heart, she wants to fall head over heels for Celeste again. But can she trust Celeste to feel the same this time around? It sounds very tense, and I need this. This sounds fantastic. Going back to a 2026 title, on January 20th, 2026, Worst Case Scenario by Ray Stoeve comes out. It is a T for T YA romance with enemies to dating, a non-binary protagonist, complex family dynamics, and mental health themes. It's an enemies to lovers romance about nemesises who are focused to share their school's queer alliance presidency following a tie election. I have not read from Ray Stoeve in a long time, but this sounds so good and right on my alley. And I'm just gonna share two more because I'm getting a little tired, honestly. So let's switch things up and share a physical copy. Thank you to Katie at the Dial Press for sending this over. This is Needle Lake by Justine Champine, and I recently hauled it, but if you didn't see that haul, I will share it here as well. Two cousins on very different sides of teenage girlhood spend one winter together that changes both of their lives forever. So we have 14-year-old Ida, who was born with a hole in her heart. She's forbidden from most physical activities and considered strange by her teachers and peers. She prefers spending time alone, memorizing countries and capitals on her globe and imagining the world outside the tiny logging town of Mineral, Washington. One afternoon, in walks her cousin Elena, here to stay for a few weeks. Ida hasn't seen Elena since they were young, and she's immediately drawn to her older cousin, who's everything Ida is not: confident, glamorous, charismatic, and daring. Elena lives in San Francisco. Then on Christmas Eve, a man dies out in the woods near Mineral, and the two cousins suddenly share a secret beyond the scope of anything Ida has dealt with before. Fear begins to mix in with the reverence Ida feels toward her cousin, especially when she discovers Elena is hiding more than she ever expected. It sounds so good, and it's kind of short. Oh, this is coming out December 2nd, 2025, so if you're interested, pre-order it. And last, I'm going to leave us on a YA sapphic holiday romance. This is I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm by Mariama J. Lockington. This comes out on October 15th. High school senior Lilac has always found Christmas to be the hardest season. While other kids got presents and family time by the fire, she was in and out of foster care. An up-and-coming makeup influencer and aspiring cosmetology student who loves a bold lip, Lilac definitely isn't looking for romance. Not when opening up to someone feels a lot like asking to get hurt. Christmas is Juniper's favorite time of year. At least it was until her mom's separation. They're back together now, and Juniper hopes they'll stay that way, because if they're happy, that means Juniper can leave for her gap year trip after graduation, the one she has yet to tell her parents about and can't really afford without their help. When a chance meeting brings these two opposite personalities together, they should clash. Only they don't. Instead, Lilac strikes a deal with Juniper, pose as her fake girlfriend in a series of holiday-themed social media posts, and they can split the money from her beauty sponsorships. Could it be that sparks are flying both in front of the camera and behind it? Told from dual POV, one in prose and one in verse. I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm is a cozy and modern love story from acclaimed author Mariama J. Lockington that's perfect for winter holidays or all year round. This is going on my list for December. I have to read this. That sounds fantastic, and I can't wait to pick it up. And those are all the books that I wanted to mention today. If you are interested in any of them, let me know in the comments. Or if I missed one, let me know what you're most anticipating that I need to know about. Let me know down in the comments, and while you're there, give it a like and hit subscribe if you haven't. It is Pride Month, so you're required to if you like queer books and want to stick around. Thank you to my top patrons for their continuous support. I am doing a sale right now. If you use Pride 60 at checkout, you get 60% off my 2 tiers. The paperback pal, which is originally at $5, is now $2, and the top tier Bookish bundle is usually at $10, and now it is at $4. Any and all support helps me so much over on Patreon since I'm not monetized, so thanks so much if you do. If you would like to watch more, I will link my past video here and you can subscribe there. Bye.